2 a.m. I wake up, I'm hungry, beef noodle. Dinner, beef noodle. Breakfast, beef noodle. Bonjour, 大家好, welcome to my channel. I am Mehdi. And in today's topic, we're going to see the cost of living in Taipei. This subject was suggested by one of you. I will be covering Taipei because this is where I live and this is where I have my anecdotal experience. But first, a disclaimer. This is a short video, most likely around 10 minutes. So I won't have the time to do a full detailed analysis about the topic. And to be honest with you, I had my fair share of thesis writing when I was in university. Never again. In this video, I won't be talking about the whole Taiwan, but rather Taipei only. Because I know there's like huge disparities in terms of cost of things between the south and the north of Taiwan. And since I'm French, I will also be comparing Taipei to Paris because pourquoi pas? This will be a 3-episode series. The first one being today, the cost of food. This is a question that keeps coming back on all the forums or Facebook groups for foreigners, especially when summer comes. There's all the new students, and since they open the visa applications, a lot of new students that are coming to Taiwan, and they always have the same question. Hey, I'm coming to Taiwan, to Taipei, to study. Is my budget enough? Can I find a house? Is it enough for the food? And the first element we will cover today is the cost of food. How much it costs to eat in Taipei, and how does it compare to Paris? To be honest with you, it's kind of a stereotype. Whenever you hear about people going to Taipei or coming back from Taiwan, you hear about the cost of food. Wow, it's so cheap to eat in Taiwan. Amazing. Yes. Is it real? Let's see today. So if you go in your different Facebook groups or the forums, there will be two clans. The first one, the one that eats for 100 NTD a day or less. They will swear by this amount. And no matter what you tell them, they will always tell you that you can eat for super cheap in Taipei. On the other side, you have the team, yes, okay, you can eat for 100 NTD or less. However, most of the time, it's not that healthy. So we have two clashing opinions about the topic. And we need an objective way of quantifying if it's really that inexpensive to eat in Taipei. And the first element I would like to present to you today is the Big Mac index. Big Mac, I mean, the one from McDonald's? Yeah, the Big Mac from McDonald's, of course. Yep, Big Mac Index. What else? It's a funny name for a really useful tool. The Big Mac Index is used to calculate or estimate the purchasing power of consumers all around the world where McDonald's is present and sell Big Macs. In Taipei, the average price of a Big Mac is 2.70 USD, or more or less 80 NTD. In 2013, it was 2 USD and 25 cents. And in 9 years, from 2013 to 2022, the Big Mac went from 2 USD and 25 cents to 2 USD and 70 cents. A rather minor augmentation considering the amount of time that passed. And you will see in this video, link in the description, that other countries have it much worse than in Taipei. In Paris, for a Big Mac alone, it's 5 USD. 5 USD. Almost double the price for the same Big Mac. So from that, can we say that Paris is twice as expensive in terms of food compared to Taipei? No, of course not. Because from my own experience, I can tell you for sure, it's not twice as expensive, but it is more expensive, that's guaranteed. One thing I can confirm is that the McDonald's in Taipei are much cheaper, much more affordable than the one in Paris. In Paris, it's crazy. I feel like I have to take a loan when I go to McDonald's because just for a menu, you pay 10 USD. Just for a menu, a Big Mac, big fries, and a big Coke, you pay 10 euros. That's roughly 300 NTD. And because why not? You want 4 nuggets additional because you're a bit more hungry? Yeah? 400 NTD now. It's 400 NTD for a full menu plus 4 nuggets. In Taiwan, guess how much? Yep, 180 NTD total. Yes, that's crazy. If you want to eat McDonald's, just eat it in Taipei. Eat as much as you can in Taipei before you go to France, because in France, it feels like almost a luxury. And for the same price, I can have a full dish in a restaurant in Taipei. It's even worse than that if you order on Uber Eats. In France, on Uber Eats, everything is 20 to 30% more expensive. So the same menu we spoke about, it's not 10 USD, it's 12 USD now, 480 NTD. This little example can be extended to most fast foods in Taipei. The fast foods in Taipei compared to the one in Paris are much more affordable. Okay, great. But is there a trade-off in terms of quality? I would say yes. McDonald's, the same, as good as ever. I mean, as a McDonald's can be, right? However, if you speak Burger King, let me tell you, the quality is much higher, much better in Paris. First, we have flame grilled meat. Mwah! So much better than the one in Taipei, like so much better. Because in Taipei, the meat of the Burger Kings are a bit soggy and yeah, no, not so good for me. Let's not even talk about KFC. Wow, what a shock for me it was when I first arrived in Taipei. I ordered fried chicken at KFC. I take a bite, guess what? Bone and cartilage. I was shocked. Yeah, because I have to tell you, in France we have chicken tenders, and basically it's chicken fillet that is battered, fried, and that's all. There's no bone. It's pure chicken white. It's juicy, delicious. You can bite without breaking your teeth on a bone. And that's what I thought I ordered, right? Nope, big mistake. It's a chicken steak with a rib cage. And I'm really insisting on this point because before coming to Taiwan, I was a KFC lover. I loved so much eating KFC with my wife. Both of us would go out of our way just to eat KFC. The chicken tenders are so good. And if one day you go to France, go to KFC and order chicken tenders. You will see the difference. It's so sad that you don't have it in Taipei. It's something that puts me in huge misery whenever I think about it. And it's the first thing I'm gonna eat whenever I go back to France. No bœuf bourguignon, no steak frites. No, forget about all this. No bread, no croissant. I will go to KFC, order a pair of chicken tenders and just bite through it. The juice, beautiful. But of course, fast food are not the only options in Taipei. You can eat local cuisine for much cheaper and much healthier than fast food. The first time I came to Taiwan, I was living in Gongguan because I was studying in NTU, Taida. And the first thing I noticed, there were so many small restaurants around the campus. It was so great. So there's a lot of restaurants at a reasonable price, amazing. But I have to admit, my first love in terms of food, my first culinary love was for 7-Eleven when I first arrived in Taiwan. Now let me explain. When I first came to Taiwan, I didn't know much about the country and I didn't know about all the small affordable restaurants, right? The local cuisine. And so there was a 7-Eleven like a couple meters away from my dorm. And I went there and I discovered that you could buy already made dishes, heat it up there and eat it quick. And for less than 70 NTD. I was amazed. For less than 2 euros, I could eat a full dish and just be content with it. It was good. It was actually decent quality food. Because let me tell you, in France, if you eat a dish for 2 euros or less, even if it's like a microwavable dish, nah. I spent the first week hunting for one dish because I just loved it. It was a beef, a noodle dish, a bit spicy. I kept eating it, that's all. 2 a.m. I wake up, I'm hungry, beef noodle. Dinner, beef noodle. Breakfast, beef noodle. And it was again so cheap compared to what I knew from France. And I've read a lot of comments on Facebook saying that you can just get by eating the food from 7-Eleven. Oh yeah, if you just eat the food from 7-Eleven, you'll be fine, it's really cheap and it's great to save money when you're in Taiwan. Yeah, I honestly disagree because if you just count a dish plus a drink and maybe a dessert, you're already 130 to 150 NTD deep. And for 150 NTD, you can have a dish in a really local restaurant. And honestly, it's much better to go to a local restaurant to eat something local and really fresh rather than eating microwaved food from 7-Eleven for the same price. But I understand why they would say that because most foreigners, they don't really know about the local restaurants and how cheap they are. If you know where to go, you can eat super cheap in Taipei and really healthy. After my love story with 7-Eleven ended, I was sick of the food because I kept eating 7-Eleven every goddamn day. I discovered that there's a lot of local restaurants I could go to. And there were so many other dishes I could eat around in Gangguan. There was the beef noodles, there was like some typical restaurant with like a lot of soups, a lot of fried noodles, chicken with rice, dumplings, so many different foods that were also really affordable. I never ate beef noodle before coming to Taiwan. And my first beef noodle dish, I was in love. That was so good, just so good. So when I was in Taipei, I only cared about parties because I knew I could eat beef noodle at 4 a.m. right after. That's the only reason why I was going out, beef noodles. It was such a treat to go party, come back a little bit tired, and go eat a beef noodle at around 3 to 4 a.m. Such a nice experience. So in the end, if you want to eat local restaurants or 7-Eleven, it can be really affordable to eat in Taipei. But if you miss Western cuisine, Western dishes, you can also eat Western food in some restaurants, but it can get pricey really quick. I just said that you can eat for really cheap if you go to local places, but don't go too local because I tried and my belly, it ran away from me. It wasn't really happy after that. So if you're a foreigner and you go to local places that are extra local, be careful of your belly. You might not be ready for what's coming. And of course, if you have a lot of money and you want to spend a lot of money into food, don't worry. There's so many places, luxurious places where you're gonna eat insane meals for a lot of money. So for this, don't worry, you're also covered. But trust me, so many nice places. All in all, if you compare Taipei to Paris, I would say that in Taipei, it's really easy to get cheap and affordable food. For less than 150 NT, you can eat really decent meals and healthy meals. In Paris, it's really hard to find anything below 5 to 6 USD, which is around 200 NTD. If you want to go to restaurants, fancier restaurants, then the prices are rather similar from Taipei to Paris. And in the video description, you can find some links to some really useful resources if you want to compare the price of things from Paris to Taipei, especially the price of milk. I had no clue milk was so expensive in Taipei. That's crazy. Okay, this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And also leave a comment below if you want to share your opinion on whatever I spoke about and suggest a future topic. Thank you so much for staying that long with me for this video, and see you soon for a next video. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.